All right. Hello, everybody. This is Patrick Dean. Thank you for joining me on my Facebook Live here today. We're not going to spend a lot of time, but I am very excited to share with you this evening. I know that many of you are in transition in your life. You're either on a journey now, you're shifting your career, because of your age or the way that you look at things, you're shifting your outlook on life, you're shifting what you expect of yourself, and you are looking for something and you're seeking something that is the next thing for you. And I journaled this for myself, what I just read to you about this next step in life. And I'm so glad that you're on this short Facebook Live with me, because I want to share with you some of the stuff that I'm doing in my life that I'm working at mastering. I think that a lot of us are like we're in this room that we are very familiar with, that we have mastered this room, this part of our life. It becomes comfortable and it becomes really familiar. But for most of you, after you've mastered something, what you want to do is take the next step in your experience. And it's like there's a doorway at the end of this room, this door, and you can open it. And when you open that door, you step into the next experience of your life. And I think that's one of the most exciting things that we can do in life, is that we keep moving and mastering. So what I wanted to share with you this evening is I've done some journaling, and I wanted to talk with you about some of the stuff that I personally am working at mastering in my life, and I want to share this with you because I think it might have value for you, or at least you can relate to it. And also, I wanted to share with you, just to be open and vulnerable about the things I certainly haven't mastered in my life, even though I've been doing this, working with people for 30 years and worked with over 30,000 people. And I have been with people and heard the stories forever. And I'm always still learning and always trying to master something within myself. So again, welcome. And I'm going to jump into 4 areas of my life and share with you what I want to master and what I'm working with or working on, or however you want to language it. So let's jump in tonight, and we're kind of all on this journey together. And so here's the first area that I am working on mastering. And this one is called follow up on every commitment in my life. Never being late for a meeting, never forgetting to return text, never forgetting to return phone calls. All of that is part of mastery. And I noticed one thing that I do, and I catch myself in this all the time, is kind of putting my different commitments on different levels that I'm willing to focus and put energy into. So there's these huge commitments in my life, and they're commitments about my relationship and my marriage to lovely Nancy, and my commitment to my clients, and my commitment to my training that I do around the world. And those are huge commitments, never to be broken, really to be followed through on. And then I have commitments to friends, or commitments to other people, or commitments to things that I said that I would do, and I put them on a lower level. In other words, what I've caught myself doing for a good portion of my life is just putting everything in a hierarchy. So what I'm sharing with you is what I want to master is to be able to put every commitment on a level that when I'm in that commitment and doing that it's the most important thing in my life. That I've noticed that for me, my life works in direct relationship to how well I'm keeping my word and keeping my commitments. And I know a lot of you are on this call or listening to this Facebook Live, and you have an idea of keeping commitments with people. Most of you and most of my clients, all of you guys are very good at that. But also what I'm talking about is the commitments to ourself, the commitment to myself, to maybe have more fun in life. My commitment to myself is to practice on my health, to explore and do something about my career, take care of myself in certain ways. And oftentimes I'll take commitments to myself and I'll put them way down the list. So I think that balancing commitments to make a difference with other people and balancing commitments within yourself is one of the most powerful things that we can do. And I have not mastered that, I want to tell you, but I'm going to be on the path here because this is my commitment to you guys, that I'm going to start operating from this place where every commitment has focus and importance. Now, in this area of commitment, what I really want to look at is when I say yes to something, I really want to mean it. Oftentimes, I'll find myself couching my language or making things softer or saying yes, sort of, and in my life, and that leaves a lot of loose ends and leaves me doing stuff that takes energy that I could put towards something that forwards me. So in other words, as the Bible says, say yes, yes, or no, no, and let that be your word. So I want to practice that for me and for all of us here, to say yes to those things that are exciting, yes to those things that may be difficult, yes to those things that are hard, and say yes to the things that move me forward in my life, and be able to say no to those things that are going to take my energy and that are going to pull me off the path. And I wanted to share something with you about this path, and it's from my book called Love Made Visible, and I wanted to read this to you about path. Now, this is from an author named Carlos Castaneda, who was a cultural anthropologist who studied the mystic Yaqui Indians in Mexico, and he got taught by a mentor. And here's what his mentor told him about paths in life. He said this: there are paths that go through the bush, and there are paths out of the bush, through it. And in my own life, I could say I traversed long paths, but I am not done yet. My benefactor's question has meaning now. And the question is, does your path have a heart? If it does, the path is good. If it doesn't, it is of no use. You see, both paths lead to the end, but one of your paths that you choose has a heart, and the other does not. One path chosen makes a joyful journey, and as long as you follow it, you will feel that joy. The wrong path can be a curse in your life. One path makes you strong, and one path weakens you. And so when we talk about taking the path or walking through the doorway, what I see for me is always trying to work with and find the path with a heart. And that has to do with my purpose of making a difference and my purpose of taking care of the people close to me. The path with a heart, and all the other stuff is a distraction. So follow up on every commitment and do what I say I'm going to do is going to be one of my big practices. All right, the next practice: setting clear expectations, defining the outcome. Now, this is what I ask all my clients. What is your ideal life in 1 year? What's your ideal life in 5 years? What is your ideal life in 10 years? So stop for a moment and start thinking about your ideal life. What is that for you? I've talked to so many people that say, I can't think about 1 year from now. I'm just trying to get through this month. I'm trying to get through what I'm doing right in front of me. I'm trying to do this chaos. I'm trying to handle this fire. I'm trying to handle this. And every client that I've had, that I've worked with, that have journaled on this, and that we have identified that path with a heart, that's a 1 year, 5 year, and 10-year commitment to the best life you can possibly lead. And so, clarity of expectations of how you want it to be. Be clear in your language. I want to really improve my language. Now, expectations also have to do, again, with my lovely wife, Nancy, and my relationship. Because we are on this path, we have developed what I call radical honesty. And some of you here that are listening right now have spouses and people in your life that you have developed the experience of radical honesty. And this is one of the greatest things that you can discipline yourself to do. And that is speaking the truth no matter what's going on for you, and understanding your own feeling and experience and being able to share that. Now, here's a really small one in my relationship. So I asked my wife to do something the other day. This is so small and simple, but I said, when you start your laundry, will you complete it so you get things done so I can use the washing machine as well? And so we sat down across from each other. Now, this seems like a really small thing, but you certainly can extrapolate this into every area of life if you want to. And I clearly let her know what I would like to have happen. And she looked me in the eye and she said, I'm not going to do that. Now, those of you in relationship know that when that happens, when you've been sincere and open about what you want to have happen, and the other person says, I'm not willing to do that, I'm not going to do that, you are truly in relationship now. You are truly in partnership. You have got to work it through. Now, there's plenty of solutions to the laundry problem. When Monday is my day to do the laundry or whatever, we decide about that. And then she can do what she wants in her leisure time and how she wants to do it and how she wants to work the flow. But it was that radical honesty and the willingness to talk back and forth about that, instead of keeping some resentments about stuff. And those of you know what I'm talking about now. And it's better to take the heat up front for every decision you make, that you talk with your business partners, that you talk with the people in your life, and you tell the truth then and take the heat then. If it's going to be an argument, if it's going to be a discussion, do it up front, because one of the biggest problems is stuff that wasn't done up front, and then it festers and gets bigger. Here's my experience, and some of you that are on here, my great buddy Scott, knows about this one, that the fact is that the biggest failures in life happen because of misalignment. It isn't the argument in relationship about sex. It isn't about the money. It isn't about the kids. It isn't any of that stuff. What it is, it always boils down to that we get misaligned. And the reason that we get misaligned is because we're unwilling to tell the truth to each other. So my practice is more radical honesty, more truth. That means I have to know what I want, and I have to ask the question of Nancy, what's important in your life? Where do you want to be in 5 years, and 1 year, and 5 years, and 10 years? And honor that. So this is the process of clarity. Start looking at your language and being clear. Next, this one's called the small things are big, and the big things should be taken lightly. There's an old samurai saying that goes this way: the largest things in life should be taken lightly. The smallest detail in life should be given great intensity. And I think what that means is that all the worry about the larger philosophical things in life, the worry or the concern with our career, the concern with money, the concern with relationship, the concern with health, all of that stuff is big and important and can be a grounding place to set your goals. But what really is happening in life is what's in front of you right now. The fact that you're listening to this video is what's happening in front of you right now. And this is the old thing about doing the dishes. You do the dishes, and the most important thing in your life right now is the sponge and water that's in your hand and flowing from the sink. Now, this sounds absurd, but what I'm talking about is, if if your sponge and the water is the most important thing and the dish is there in front of you, that means that you give it the most focus, that you put yourself into it completely with what's in front of you. And then you move on to the next thing. Now, if I can master this, which I want to start to master, what I want to start to master is this ability to focus on what's in front of me and not be scattered all over the place. And what that will mean for me is when I sit down with my clients, that I can be focused on each person as the most important person in my life in front of me. That I can sit with my son and have him as the most important thing in my life in front of me in that moment. You see, it's an application of the experience of moment by moment by moment. For those of us that are caught up in bigger ideals and stuff, start to master this experience of bringing it down. Also, for most of us, there's something called the golden moment. Now, what this is, the golden moment, well, let me give you a story. So I like to exercise in the morning. So when I swing my legs over the bed and have my exercise stuff next to the bed, and I start to put on my exercise gear, I know that I have about 10 minutes of willpower, of determination, that are readily available to me in that moment. That the longer that I wait, the more that willpower, that determination starts to wane and other things become more important. So in your life, there's these golden moments and you got to grab them. That's where you have complete control over yourself and you get yourself up no matter whatever the resistance is. You get yourself up and you start to do it. That you make in your network marketing company, you want to, those calls that you've been putting off. You have moments where you know that you can do it. And they don't last forever. If you have mastered having those last forever, let me know. I want to learn from you. But I know that there are the moments where you have the best opportunity to create something. The golden moments. So, remember, the small things require the most focus. And as you practice, you'll become more and more and more able by breath, by what you're doing, to put yourself into the moment of experience. And from that, you're going to get some incredible results in connection with people. Let's see. Finally, one of the greatest, one of the things that I've caused myself in my life the most mischief, caused myself the most problem, is being uncoachable. That I've arrived at a place where I think that I know it all, and I begin to filter everything through what I think is right and wrong. I'm in the middle of learning new trainings right now. Even though I've been doing it for a long time, I'm learning new trainings. And it's hard to do that. I find it difficult. I find myself in resistance to trying something new. I find myself in resistance to being coached myself. So I can imagine what my clients are going through. That allows me to see that amount of resistance in action and in myself. So what I'm going to work with is coachability. Being able to put myself outside of what is right and wrong, my feelings about stuff, and really start to learn. Now, what I want to do with this coachability also is I want to surround myself with people who are also the kind of people that are excited and that are learning and that are curious about their path and their journey in life. That I want to take a look at the people around me. Now, I don't categorize people as better or worse, good or bad, in my experience, at least on the area of what I'm working with here now. Of course, I catch myself all the time as a human being doing that judgment. But what I'm talking about is the value of a human being. Now, no matter who we are, I think every human being is valuable. What I'm talking about here is beginning to take a look at the people around you. And if you have people around you that are curious themselves, that are open to learning themselves, that are excited about their next step, they're excited to step through that doorway, that they know that there's more, no matter whether they're whatever age, 18 to 90, and they know that there's more to learn and more to be. That's the kind of people that really bring something powerful to all our lives. And so seek out those people that contribute to your forward momentum, and just listen and be and absorb that energy. So that's it. That's my commitment here, to follow up on every commitment, to live closer to my word, and to be honest, to have clear expectations of myself, and to be able to describe those expectations with simplicity and clarity, to move the clutter out of my thinking and really take it down to a focus. The small things are the big things. And to be able to enjoy the moment of experience, whatever you're doing, because you're totally focused into it. That's my practice. And then the last one, the challenging one, the exciting one as well, is to be totally coachable. I can't wait to wake up tomorrow morning to see what my clients have in store, to see what life has in store, to reach out and to bring into my life and just breathe in all the opportunity that's out there. Some of it is a path with a heart, and some of it is a path that doesn't have a heart. But I get to sort that out. So why don't you join me in this and be in this practice, and we can do this together. Now, in front of you on the screen, as I wrap this up, there's some ways to get a hold of me if you are interested in opening that doorway. If you are really interested to be held accountable and to step into something new and be on this journey with me as mentoring and coaching with you, I am really willing to have a conversation with you. Even if it's a single conversation, that would be fine. And there's no charge or obligation. I just love to talk with you about what's there for you. Who do you need to be to create these results? What do you need to let go of to create the great results? And I'll have that conversation with you. On the screen right now is a URL that says mytimetrade.com book, and then there's L2DBG, and that's all you need to do is put that into your browser. You will see my calendar, and you can set up a private conversation with me if that is something that you like to do. No matter whether it's me or not, what I suggest is that you get some teachers and mentors in your life, because that is going to help you open that door, and they can walk with you a little way on your journey. Anyway, this is Patrick Dean for Patrick Dean Coaching, for Seminar Systems, and go out there and make the difference you were born to make. Thank you guys for being on this call or watching this recording, and we will have another Facebook Live next Wednesday at 6 o'clock. Thanks again. Talk with you again.